Alrighty. Oh, shit, you're having robot noises. Welcome to the 420 Lounge. Hope you like that new rendition that Trailer came up with. Pretty sweet. Um, but y'all know the rules, right? It's the 420 Lounge. We're sitting on the couch. By the way, Daniel, more than welcome to come up. Uh, yeah, it'd probably help if I did that. My bad. Alright, Stoner's working magic here. Alright, so today's topic, distillate, and what it actually is. So I'm going to go on a little rant here. Distillate is highly refined cannabis concentrate, usually testing between 85 and 99% THC, which is absolutely ridiculous. Like, there's a lot of people that have like tolerances and whatnot, and when you're introducing it in this concentrated form, in the 85 to 99% range THC, not THCA, which is important here. I see a lot of people with tolerance issues. So the refining process, so the way they take flour, right? Which flour, in my opinion, is it's the mother, right? Or the god, if you want to. Like if we're putting it on a hierarchy, flour's up here. Um, because it encompasses all like the terpenes, the cannabinoids, all that stuff in flour that's totally retained. So when we get into refining it into distillate, the process of that is using solvents in high heat to isolate just THC. So I actually have, so this is what I'm talking shit on. Like, well, I haven't talked shit on it yet, but how does it go from plant to that, right? And I do have a wee bit of a chart here. So biomass loading is literal flour, and they'll winterize it by freezing it, which separates trichomes from plant matter, and then they put it into either butane, ethanol, alcohol. I mean, there's other methods too, but as far as distillate is concerned, um, yeah. And then they usually use butane and ethanol. There is the rare alcohol. Alcohol tends to retain flavor. But then you go into the filtration, crystallization. That's a whole nother video. But the way they do it, like, you see how they're taking a plant and they're doing the whole thing where, yes, like when they're saying heads and tails, that's the trichromes, I do believe. But it's distillation. like the same way like you would make moonshine out of a still. But what they're doing is, as far as the actual process is concerned, what they're doing is basically extracting THC and decarboxylating it at the same time through chemicals. So that's what they're making like distillate vape carts out of, right? The part that's interesting to me, and I think the most important of why you should care, is because the vast majority of people that have started smoking cannabis since it's legalized generally go towards the vape, right? And vape is mostly distillate, like heavily distillate, because they're like, oh, well, it's legal. And they're like, oh, well, it doesn't smell. And I can get like the discrete part. That's actually, it's like disservice to cannabis is like they're effectively removing everything except for THC, and all the other stuff is super important.
My mic doing its thing.
No, it's glitching out hard. I've been actually having that problem. So when they're extracting using, the butane and whatnot, they're removing all the flavonoids, the minor cannabinoids, the terpenes. I mean, it's just strictly for THC. And I've you can look up the other THCA video I did where if it's THC, it's decarboxylated, which means that it already went through the heat process. And so when it comes to actually like when they make these carts specifically, is kind of well, it's carts and edibles that they make distillate out of. It is, it poses a question. It's rhetorical. But if the cannabis flower was so good, like they did it great, had great terp profile, great phenotype, all that stuff, why would they then run it through chemicals? The butane, the ethanol. Why would they do that? Well, there is a certain threshold of testing required for flower cannabis. So I'm going to finish up the fact shit here. So when they are removing all this stuff and just isolating THC and decarboxylating it at the same time, they're taking out the terpenes, right? So a common thing that they do is since everything is stripped out, these huge corporations that control how all this works, right? Uh, they have to add back in the terpenes. Now, I'll do a later terpene video to explain terpenes in greater detail, but there is a distinction between cannabis-derived terpenes and botanical-derived terpenes. So you can find terpenes through other plants and reintroduce them. So botanical-derived terpenes are actually not cool when it comes to cannabis because the cannabis-derived terpenes, which come from the actual flower, are super important to the way the high is. And so when we're throwing in weird botanical shit, there's also not regulation on very much of that. And to go even further into that, not only are they using shitty botanical derived terpenes, which by the way comes out of grass, trees, all that stuff, they're using horrible coils. All right. These coils are made out of heavy metals and whatnot, and then you're putting them into high temperature and inhaling it, which not great for your lungs and whatnot. Of course, inhaling anything burnt is not great. But they're using horrible coils, which are all manufactured in China, which is a whole nother thing. But it's just leaching heavy metals, and it's bad. Like smoke flower, smoke concentrate, and now we're gonna get into just discussion. It's open now. It's just vaping is bad. It's all bad.
So
Like I haven't even
you're saying
touched
that
on it.
I'm not sure how my mic's coming in, but you said
That's good now.
the okay. Most of the vape pens you use when it burns it, it doesn't burn it properly, right? Because it's not burning it. It's like the right temperature.
Well, temperature is kind of a personal preference, I think. But the metals they're using for the coil, and then like super cheap ceramic coils, which most of this comes from China and is not regulated, not researched. Yeah, you're inhaling a bunch of things that aren't cannabis. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah, that makes sense because it's burning other materials like metal and stuff like that. That's
Hmm.
why I couldn't stand. I mean, it's like the same thing like with the nicotine vapes when it has like the freaking the wicked coils and stuff like that, and they had like the metal coils, and they always had like this very distinctive taste, and you could even taste it with like the vapes, especially when they burn out. Oh gosh,
Oh yeah. That's I think when you taste the metal, because like I mean when it starts tasting funky at the end, and I mean there's no way that's good for you.
so if you buy the distillate like in a syringe or something like that, could you just put it on top of like bud or in a blunt or something like that?
Hmm. I've actually gotten like I found a wholesale place where I could buy like high quality ceramic coils, like but in like a vape cartridge form, and then I'd fill it myself with like full spectrum hash oil, and yeah, that shit's awesome. But at the same
So
time,
you,
I'm not trying to vape.
yeah. Well, I mean, you prefer like like me, the torch and glass is preferable.
I mean, in a perfect world, I'd be smoking a bowl out of a pipe, right? Like a glass pipe. Uh, but I very
I guess
much
it
like,
depends.
yeah, I
For
very much
me, I
like
feel like it's
quartz with
too
my
harsh
concentrate.
sometimes.
Well, and I mean, flour is always king for sure. I mean, it has the most cannabinoids. As far as like if you actually like, I think most stoners don't actually care about that stuff, which is annoying to me. Uh, but like if you care about like all the extras, all the flavonoids, the cannabinoids, and whatnot. Really, flour's the only way. But it smells. This is why I like concentrate. But I am very much a rosin fan, which, I mean, I can get into that. I was going to do a video about the difference between like live resin and live rosin. those kind of things. Um, but with live rosin, it retains a lot of the, not all, but a lot of the minor cannabinoids and flavonoids.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not like well informed like 100% when it comes down to the breakdown of THC. I guess some things I am pretty informed about, but then once you break down a lot of the other sciences, there's still a lot that I haven't really done too much research on,
Understandable.
especially when
I
it
mean, it is.
came to especially when it
Uh,
came to like wax and distillates and stuff like that, because like you got to learn about if it's if it's done right and stuff like that, and that's one of the main focuses. Like same thing when it comes to flour. I mean, you got to look at it, smell, looks, and all that stuff to see if it's actually grown correctly. Because some people can still grow it and get buds, but it can still be just improperly taken care of.
that's an interesting question. I've always wondered this because, like, as far as Illinois is concerned, everything comes in packaged and sealed and leaves packaged and sealed. But the number one thing people complain about is they're like, oh, I can't see it and I can't smell it. And it's like, okay, well, if you could see it and you could smell it, what would you be able to tell me?
Wait, say that again.
Like, if, say it was a deli style, that's what they call it, like, where, like, they have the jars out and, like, you can see it, touch it, feel it, smell it, all that crap.
Oh yeah.
What can you discern through
What
that
can I
process
discern?
as opposed to it being packaged and you just know what you're getting and
Well, I mean, in some cases you could base it off of looks, but that's not always the case, especially with a lot of this like CBD variant of things, because you can make a lot of you know weaker end flower to look and smell like some really potent stuff, but
yep.
it ends up being just super weak. So that's like something that's mainly. I almost feel like they like most smoke shops should be like a bar where like you get to taste it.
You see how that could get problematic real quick though?
Yeah, no, it could get problematic real quick, but that's like the thing about it. I mean, um, there was this one guy. Obviously, it's not the cannabis vapes, but it was the he was doing it with the nicotine vapes. One of the local head shops where I live.
Mhm.
Uh, he had like the little plastic rubber things. He would take one out of every single pack, and he bought these little rubber plastic things to put on it so everyone can try the flavor. And he would just throw away the rubber tip part and put a new one for every person so people wouldn't get sick and stuff like that. He would sanitize the tip of it, but like it would still like I don't know, it's something similar to that, I guess, or have like something where people can
Well, here's an
sample
idea.
like a very small amount. You know what I mean?
One, like, again, I can only go off of Illinois law. Um, what if, I mean, I'm okay with there being like a consumption lounge type situation, right? I wouldn't want it to be at the dispensary though, because like
Okay,
people are
what about
already. But I mean, a separate, like maybe like down the street. But at the same time, too, that's going to turn into a weird thing where if the cops know there's a whole bunch of people that go to this place to smoke, they're just going to pull them over after and give them DUIs.
like personal professional well, not personal but professional like smoke enthusiasts, like I don't know, they practice learning the taste, the smoke, the look, and all that shit, and go around and like label things by grade.
Like a
They already
sommelier?
do that. But like something where it's like if it isn't graded by the specific person, it's probably not good.
Dude, I'd be all for that. Like a weed sommelier, like an
Yeah, yeah,
expert,
yeah, yeah, like something
like
like that. Like
me.
it's like
They could get paid to
it's
go
almost
around.
like because they do that with alcohol and wine and stuff like that. They have
Hmm.
people that tell you like the best type of wines and the best type of liquors versus the worst type of wines and liquors. So it's like they should pretty much have something like that for cannabis. And then there's a company that goes around labeling the qualification. So like let's say Texas legalized it, the guy opened up a smoke shop or something like that, or a dispensary, and uh, they would go in there and they would test his bud and try it out and everything like that. And if it it's under a specific like limit of how much different properties are supposed to be within it, then they could like even though it tastes, smells, and looks good, it's low quality. You're gonna give it 1 star or half a star.
I would be down for that. There's a dude, I think he's in Amsterdam area that like walks around with a pocket like liquid chromatography machine and like tests their cannabis after they buy it to see if it has as much THC in it as they claim. And by THC, I mean THCA.
That'd be really hilarious. To pull it up to some dude's house to get some and just pull that thing out and go like, I'm making sure this shit's right,
Hmm.
making sure it's
Well,
good.
I think it would be funny, like, because especially on the West Coast, they claim they have cannabis flower that is like over 40%, which makes no sense to me that anybody would even believe that from the get-go, right? Because you can literally Google what is the limit of THCA in cannabis flower, and it's theoretical at 35.
I'm gonna say like what average is like what in the 20s, like 20 to 25 or something like that.
Dude, the best flower cannabis I've ever smoked was 13% THCA. And the reasoning for that is because what most people don't take into account is if it's lower in THCA, the part where you burn it and it gets you high, it also has way more of the other stuff like CBD, CBG, um, beta myrcene, beta caryophyllene. Like those are the things that shape it, if that makes sense.
No, it does because I mean like I don't really I never really got down with the whole CBD other than I know that it can be good for certain things, but like for me it never really had really any effect or really the same effect. Sure, the smell and the look has similarities, but it never really did anything for me.
Well, it all only works in I may be saying this wrong, a symbiotic relationship. It's called the entourage effect. Like this plant predates human as far as evolution. So like to think that we can just separate certain things and it's going to have the same effect is just kind of ridiculous. Like the plant has been doing it for a long time.
Well, I mean, that would be like taking the chemical properties out of anything and expecting it to still have the same effect. It'd be like breaking down alcohol all the way
Hmm.
down to its purest form of alcohol, and then trying to drink it would not have. I mean, you maybe, but you're probably gonna die because it's very toxic to the body
Yeah,
in,
that's
at its
that's very
purest
true.
form.
That's very true. That's why like alcohol enthusiasts can tell a difference between like a tequila buzz, a whiskey buzz, a bourbon buzz, vodka buzz, a gin buzz, because they all have different properties. But then you get into white lightning, like completely distilled. That's a whole nother thing.
Yeah, I mean, uh, probably the strongest one I ever had is this one brand. It's just called a liquor spirit. Like that's all it says on the bottle, but the name of it
Hmm.
was called Diesel, and they were going out like, or he had the local liquor store near me had like huge piles of them after COVID, and I had bought a bottle and it was 98% alcohol. You can clean with it and you can drink it, but I don't recommend drinking. It was meant to be as like a
Like a
like a
disinfectant originally.
yeah, originally, but if you did drink it, it was specifically meant for like a mixer, like you would add an additional shot. Uh, Not like a
Yeah.
shot. It would have to be less than a shot. It would be like a syringe of a couple of milliliters that you would basically spray into it for like um, specific aroma or taste or something like that. But taking one full shot of that shit, dude, I was instantly fucking drunk.
Yeah. I met a moonshiner on my it was on one of my birthdays. And he was like, "Oh, it's your birthday?" I was like, "Yeah." It's like, "Well, I haven't cut this yet." And he was a moonshiner. So, they mix water into it to get like their desired proof at the end result. And he's like, "I haven't done it yet. So don't try to be a man and actually take a full shot of this." He's like, "Just take a nip." That's what they call it around here. Just a little nip. I did that, and man, that was the cleanest alcohol buzz I've ever had. But I only took the nip. My homie that was there with me thought he was going to be a man and instantly puked.
Yeah, if it comes with, I mean, I could hold uh, liquor to an extent, but it's you got to know your body's a limit. Plus, you also got to eat food and stuff like that. I feel like that really
Mhm.
does kind of come a little bit to the same way with cannabis, except you're not really gonna die if you don't eat, but you could really feel the full effect. Like if you wake up in the morning and you smoke and you don't eat anything, like, and then the metabolism effect starts to set in where you're even more hungry and even more munchies.
For sure.
Because I fast 12 to 12. So if I get off at 6 in the morning and I get home, I don't eat anything till 12 noon. So if I smoke, uh, I'm extremely fasting. A lot of people would say you're forcibly starving. You're saying, oh, that's the point of fasting. Uh, Cannabis just allows me to do it where it speeds up the process. And over time, I've actually built a fast metabolism because I used to not have a fast metabolism. I used to get chunky when I was in high school, and I would get like pretty big pretty quick. Now, like my body, and I shit you not, it was because of kind of balancing that fasting with smoking cannabis to it almost like changed or made my body adapt to having a fast metabolism because I didn't originally have one.
Yeah, I could see that because, like, for me, when I first started smoking cannabis, it was my 19th birthday. I'm like a picky eater, but I inadvertently started intermittent fasting just because, like, I don't like eating when I wake up. Like, I'm not hungry until at least 6 hours after I'm awake.
Oh, probably not 6 hours, but uh, I definitely. Well, it depends on when I wake up. Like I said, I fast from 12 to 12, so uh, like right now it's 10:51 where I'm at. And I'm gonna have lunch before 12 o'clock. So when 12 o'clock hits, I won't be eating anything until noon that day, and then one day out of the entire week I fast for 24 hours. The only thing that makes it a problem, I don't feel like cannabis makes it a problem because, like I said, I feel like it speeds up the process. And after you fast for a long period of time, you don't really feel that
Yeah, the munchies.
insatiable pain of hunger. Well, you don't really feel that hunger pain. You don't really feel that. You know that you're hungry and that you could require food right now, but you don't feel
Mm.
that pain anymore once you fast enough. Uh, for me, it's not the same with if I smoke a cigarette. If I smoke a cigarette in the morning when I get home after not eating, dude, I feel like shit.
Interesting. I also smoke cigarettes, but not that much. I used to be like a pack and a half.
Maybe if I drink something, like if I drink something, because I don't fast liquids necessarily. It depends. I'll try to stay away from anything that's sugary and just kind of, you know, drink water every now and again, but to stay hydrated because humidity over here is a bitch. But yeah, I don't think I've been able to really not eat food and smoke a cigarette and not feel like shit. I mean, it's kind of similar with alcohol. Like, I kind of have to eat something before I drink. Well, obviously, because it's going to basically create ulcers, but kind of glad that
Mm.
cannabis doesn't really do that.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
The only time I guess it would ever make me like, because I've heard of some people, uh, I'm not sure if you've heard of this story. Uh, it's happening recently. I've never heard of it happening when I was a teenager, but when people are like smoking and beginning to make themselves like throw up. I can't remember what they called it. It was like it's basically like something that like fucks up your gag reflex and it makes you throw up when you cough. But
Well, there
like
is like
I've heard it.
actual drawbacks to like smoking cannabis, especially like with these newbies. It didn't like
Well, first off, one of them would start with I could see people throwing up from smoking is one if you never smoked bongs in
I
your
think
life and
I
you
think this is
decided
painful.
I'm going to smoke one today and I'm going to rip an entire bowl.
Yeah.
Like, and then I'm going to hold it for a good minute. Like that, I can see someone throwing up because, like, you're not expecting that. But if you're like a long term user, I don't really see someone getting to that point where they smoke till they throw up. Like I've never heard of a long time user doing that. Now I can see a younger kid not being able to handle the smoke, but that's
I don't know
that could
though.
be it.
They're all pussies now. Like if you look
That's what
at
I mean. Like a lot of these
like
20-year-olds and shit
I
are
don't think
just.
I don't think these fucking 21-year-olds are fucking ripping gravity bongs.
But it makes sense though because I mean they can't even handle their nicotine. That's why they smoke freaking mechanical vapes because they can't handle
Vapes,
a real man's cigarette.
vapes is actually more nicotine than a cigarette.
I feel like it might be, but I also feel like it's 95% more other material inside there that's burning with it because of
Oh,
that
for sure.
5% nicotine, and then you got that 95% that it's not talking about.
That's
That
yep.
is the part that pisses me off. That's why I used to smoke vapes. I started out with the Juuls, and those started making me feel like I was having like seizures at night. And I was like, nah, I can't smoke vape. I can't smoke these vapes. And then they come out with the other ones, the puff bars and stuff like that, and instead of making me feel like I was going to have a seizure at night, like my body was jittering and shit, like it made me feel like just ill all the time. Like it's different
Well,
when you don't have an appetite for something because you just feel sick. It's like it just made you were like you just nothing tasted right. Even water didn't taste right.
there's a thing about. I mean, I'm not super well versed on this, but there's salt nicotine, which I think is what most of the disposables are, which is very different from like back in the day, like the propylene glycol vegetable glycerin mix, like with the drippers.
Yeah, I think they had like there was two different brands you could buy. It was the non-salt and then the salted nicotine. I can't even remember because it's been so long since I smoked them, but I can't remember which one. One of them's supposed to be like healthier for you or something like that, or not really healthier because you're smoking something, but it's supposed to be
Mhm.
better than the other. And I can't remember if it was the salted or the unsalted. I can't remember.
Yeah, I don't remember either. But when
I
it
want to
comes
say it
to
was the
cannabis,
salted because, but
oh,
yeah, when it comes, yeah, go ahead. When it comes to
no, no,
cannabis,
well, the salted ones, I mean, I don't know. I could be vaping a salted one right now. I don't even know. They don't
well,
have
they
to
should
say.
label it that way because certain people can't inhale salted. I can't remember why, and I know it has nothing to do with allergies. It has something to do with like
Mm.
sensitivity to um like I guess it's sodium or something. I don't know, something like that. I guess it would be an allergy if you're sensitive to it, but I don't know because I do know like the nicotine pouches I use have fucking salt inside the pouch with the nicotine. So
Oh yeah, I totally take a
I would
sip
have
of
to.
it. That is like mostly. In fact, I'm gonna take it right now. Um, Mostly sodium for hydration.
I'm
But
surprised they don't have those yet. Like THC pouches, like a salt covered pouch. They just covered in THC oil that just gets you baked the longer it's in your mouth.
well, be careful. Be careful what you wish for, because uh, whatever you did just turned your shit into real hot.
Oh, it did. Ah, damn it.
Um, Careful what you wish for, though, because I think with cannabis, there's overregulation. The corporatization of it is absolutely ridiculous. That's why I thought it was. I mean, I don't think I did it justice. I don't think did a good job as far as like describing distillate and why it's so bad. But I was trying not to be opinionated on it, and also, I mean, it's the corporatization of it. Like that is their cash crop. They can sit there and tell you the Acapulco Gold is still a thing, which it's not. Like they can just make a words for distillate that are, like we have one. I have to sort of careful. Strawberry jam. That's not a weed strain. And like half of it was saying strawberry fields. That's a dead strain. Anybody like selling a cart? Really, the real question here is if you're gonna sell a cart with a strain name, you should also have that flower, right? Because that's what you made it out of. But if you have like Acapulco Gold, Strawberry Fields, carts, distillate specifically, but yet you don't have it in flower, why should I believe if that's what it says it is, right? Because what'd you make it out of? Not to mention, like, distillate is like, I mean, Google this shit. They make distillate out of floor weed and remediated weed. So what remediated weed is cannabis that doesn't pass the test the cannabis is supposed to pass in order to be sold as flower. So instead of taking the laws, these motherfuckers have changed the law to where they're like, oh, well, we'll just run it through butane and ethanol. So that's why they're stripping all the minor cannabinoids and flavonoids. If they're not egregiously stripping that shit, what they're doing is hiding their mold, their horrible growing conditions, the shit that won't pass their test. And instead of it being lost and then being like, well, we didn't do it right, they blast it with either radiation or ozone. and then put it through ethanol, which makes it turn into some liquid that you can't discern at all. That's kind of why I was asking, like, if you could see it, does it really matter? Like, what are you discerning with your eyes? Well, in flower form, you're discerning that hopefully there's not mold on it, which can be hard to tell. And smelling, uh, if the smell is bad, then it's going hard in the paint on that robot chip. Um, I would only say that somebody like buying weed that wants to be like kind of look at it and smell it. If they were to say like, well, they don't even have to say it, right? If you're looking for mold and making sure it's not moldy, but you're also going to be able to smell that. If it smells all like wet and swampy, probably moldy. So I get that to an extent, but the standards that my dispensary has in order for you to even be able to buy weed is pretty insane. Like nothing that anybody looks at or smells is really. Plus, these are the dumbest people in the history of time. No, I'm not an hour yet, but yeah, great. No, literally, the people that buy weed at my dispensary are like the dumbest people in the history of time. They only care about THC. They don't. They don't understand the distinction of THCA and THC. Um, a lot of times we have to refund people because they buy butter, like Budder, which is concentrate, thinking that it's edibles, which is retarded. Also, what I'm talking about with this distillate shit too, and how they're stripping all that and adding things, and when you're adding botanical terpenes, it's not good. But they're doing that, and a lot of people are resorting to edibles because they think smoking's a bad look, blah blah blah. Seemed a good way to go because then they can do a whole bunch of shit on the back end, which they are. I guess I'm being a little not fully transparent, but look for full spectrum. And even then, it's a lie. It's all lies. I guess that's what I'm getting at. It's all lies. They're full of shit. They thought they were going to make a shit ton of money off of legalizing cannabis while still calling it marijuana, which is a made up word. And now that the ceiling's fallen out of it, they're like, oh, edibles. Let's push that towards the older people. It's a whole bullshit scheme. But I do believe in cannabis. I just don't believe in the people pushing it. They're full of shit. They don't care about research. They push vapes, for fuck's sake. They really cared about it, they'd be ice bathing it or a static sift, which isn't even a thing in America yet. Or I don't know. How about research it? If anybody's still listening, if you want to actually know anything about real cannabis research, look up Israel. Jerusalem specifically. They have a college there that, like, during the 70s, all the people in the United States, when they scheduled cannabis as Schedule 1 drug, like, all the leading, like, researchers went to Israel because they incentivized it. And there's a lot of really good research. There's a lot of children that, like, also, if you didn't know CBG, look up CBG. It sounds like CBD, but it's not. It has done wonders for children with seizures and whatnot. It's not psychoactive. It's actually the compound in the plant while it's growing before it turns into all the other stuff. So many implications. Very interesting. Very good for eye health. Sorry for the dead air. Thinking. But definitely look up CBG for sure. Also, uh, I have to take a washroom break, so I'm gonna put a song on and grift break, even though there's no grifting. But it'd be cool if somebody can come up and talk. Otherwise, I'm gonna play Forza.
Doesn't begin. The menu looks deep, but the question is loud. If two bread sides hold it, does it make the crowd? You serve it hot, you serve it proud, but the sandwich police keep circling around. Hey, is it a dog? Is it a roll? If it got ketchup, does it take my soul? I need a truth, I need it now. The bun got logic and I don't know how. Are they sandwiches? Are they sandwiches? Hot dog in the middle, tell me yes or no. Are they sandwiches? Are they sandwiches? When the bun gets split, where does the hot dog go? At Dodge 420 Lounge, we all start to doubt. Are they sandwiches? Are they sandwiches? Somebody spell it out. Old man at the counter says, son, don't fight it. If the bread hugs meat, then the law just wrote it. But my cousin swears with the sesame crown, that's a dog in the blanket, and the blankets turn brown. Then the pickle drops down like a referee, says call it what you want, it's a victory. A relish on the piece, spice in the air. The only wrong answer is acting like you don't care. Nah. Is it a meal? Is it a trick? Why's the truth look messy and deliciously thick? I need a bite, I need a sign. If it comes with onions, is it crossing the line? Are they sandwiches? Are they sandwiches? Hot dog in the middle, tell me yes or no. Are they sandwiches? Are they sandwiches? When the bun gets split, where does the hot dog go? At Dodge 420 Lounge, we all start to doubt. Are they sandwiches? Are they sandwiches? Somebody spell it out. Hey! Maybe the real debate isn't bread or meat. Maybe it's who stays calm when the mustard meets the heat. One love for the bun side, one love for the dog. If the whole joint's laughing, then the verdict's not so far. Yeah. Are they sandwiches? Are they sandwiches? Hot dog in the middle, tell me yes or no. Are they sandwiches? Are they sandwiches? When the bun gets split, where does the hot dog go? At Dog 420 Lounge, we all start to doubt. Are they sandwiches? Are they sandwiches? Somebody spell it out. I came for a snack and a friendly fight, left with sauce on my chin and a grin so bright. Dodge 420 Lounge, you know the score. I'll be back for the verdict and one dog more. One more. One more. One more. One more. Ra-ba-bam-bam-da-ba-dam-dam.
Alrighty then. Well, it's gonna turn into me playing Forza. I probably should have set that up, huh?
Crowd noise! Fake shit! Spotlights on! They just a piss! Go! Go! Even his quick shorts carry
as far as actually getting there. But whew, a little bit of readjusting. Nice. Really? Should ask ours. Should have been able to go up there. Like, what are we doing? Shit's right over here. God damn.